Hey guys, what's up? It's Ryan here, and today we are going to compare the Elegoo Mars to the Anycubic Photon. So, have you ever wanted to get into budget SLA 3D printing, or as these machines are called, DLP? The reason why these machines are called DLP is because they use an LCD screen to cure each layer from a UV light underneath. A UV light is something like this. So this is exactly what they're using for underneath that shines through a display. Like, we all have smartphones. It would just be like a smartphone display and would give you results. These screens show each and every layer that's forming, as you can see. That's what the screen is masking out, and then the UV light cures through it, and that's how it makes that shape. Same situation for over here. So it's a very simple technology, and that's why these machines are so cheap nowadays. But which one's better? Well, I'll tell you. They both have advantages and disadvantages, but the takeaway that you should have from this video is that they're very similar machines. The print quality, I would say, is pretty much identical. I have a few prints from the Anycubic Photon here. Each of these are going to have their own separate reviews, but this is from the Anycubic Photon. The white parts, that's my fault. I over-cured it, but you could see this looks absolutely incredible. The detail that you can get out of here, amazing. I have seen the same detail out of this puppy compared to this one. The detail is identical. They print the same, because they both have the same resolution displays. They both have a one rail system for the Z-axis. They're exactly the same in terms of print quality. The build size, I think, is exactly the same. I think the Elegoo Mars might be a little bit smaller. However, they're pretty much the same. So I wouldn't say that the build volume is a deterrence between these two. They're identical. There might be a few millimeters in each direction that the Anycubic Photon has over the Elegoo, but it's not by much. I don't think it should be a deciding factor if you want one of these machines. Another difference is that this one has the lid where you pop it open like this, where this one has the open up lid like that. Personally, I prefer this one just because it's a bit more user-friendly. Because I have like a little shelf up here, it's a bit hard to open this thing up fully. So it's a bit easier just to put this one to like the side or something. And I don't know, for me, this one's a bit of a better setup, but it's all personal preference. They both protect the resin from UV light, so don't worry about that. The color does not matter. They both do the same amount of job. The screens, I would say I prefer the one on the Elegoo Mars. First of all, it's in a bit of a better position. It's a bit higher, so it's a bit easier to see from a long distance compared to the Anycubic, which has a smaller display that's lower. However, I would say both displays are very good. I would just give the slight edge to Elegoo Mars just because it's a bit bigger and because it's a bit higher up. Another deciding factor between these two is actually the power. So the Anycubic Photon here, there was a new version that came out, I think it was called the Photon S, that had a more powerful UV lamp inside of it, which made print time a lot faster. Well, the Elegoo Mars is faster than the Anycubic Photon by about 2 hours, I would say. Like for an 8-hour print, this one would take about 6 hours, this one would take about 8 hours. So I would say there's actually a considerable difference in terms of how long the prints are on both of these. This one has a 6-second, up and down rate, where this one has 8 seconds, because it needs a little bit more time to cure. So this one's a bit slower than this one. So keep that in mind. However, here's the big difference between these two. The software that runs both of them. They're very different slicers. The one that comes with this is really simple. You can't even change the layer heights on it. It is very, very, very simple software. I would say I prefer the one on the Elegoo Mars. However, you can set up this slicer with this machine. I have not figured it out yet, but I know there's a way to do it because they have a Photon preset. It's just the machine does not read it for whatever reason. So I still have to troubleshoot that. If you guys have any answers to that, can you please leave it below? I believe the slicer on here, I don't remember what it's called, but it's like a really weird name. I honestly, I should have been more prepared for this video, but yeah. The Z-axis systems are very similar. They use one lead screw, as you can see. Both of them are very similar. I would say the build quality on the Anycubic is a bit better. However, the build quality on Elegoo Mars, I think it looks a lot better. I like how like the platform is like this, like it just looks super minimal. I think it looks really good. Where this one looks a bit more industrial. Like this is like something I would use in an industrial setting. Where this one's more like I guess more modern. I like the look of the Elegoo Mars a lot better, especially the red top with the black bottom. Oh, that looks so good. Where this one's like yellow, black, red. It's just kind of like a weird mix of colors. In the inside, the knob is red, and like everything else is blue. It's just, I don't know. Like the color scheme on the Anycubic bothers me a little bit. I kind of like it, but at the same time, it's a bit bothersome. Another thing that about these printers that are very similar is the overall dimensions. You can kind of see here, if I take a scoop back, they pretty much take the same amount of space. I would say the Photon is a bit smaller. If I look here, yeah, it's a bit smaller, but I wouldn't say it's like considerably smaller. I think these would probably fit in the same spot. There's some conveniences to the Anycubic. First of all, the power switch and the USB dongle is actually on the side here, on the right side, or on the Elegoo Mars, it's on the back. However, here's the big caveat. The Elegoo Mars Pro came out, and this one's a bit more expensive. I think it's around $300. But it has the thing on the side of it. One thing, though, that Elegoo has, that this one does not, that I really, really appreciate, is no fan. This thing stinks up your entire room. That's one thing I do not like about it, because it has a fan in it, and it just blows all the fumes out of it. And I'm telling you guys, resin fumes are not good. They do smell really bad. So just be ready for that. And just be ready for the safety concerns with each of these printers. Remember, wear latex gloves and a mask. I know they're kind of hard to get your hands on right now, especially at a time like this. However, if you buy a, which I actually totally recommend this, it's the Formlabs like cleaning kit. I think it's $100. They give you all the accessories that you need for an SLA 3D printer, which I know it's $100. I know it's expensive, but it basically it has a tub for water and a tub for isopropyl alcohol, and you just pretty much put your part in, and you do both of them, and it actually works really well. And then for curing, I use this UV lamp and this like little spin table right here, which is really nice because it spins the object around and gets the equal amount of UV curing on all sides. So, which one is better? So the last thing I do want to consider here is price. The Anycubic Photon is a bit less expensive. You can find this thing for around $220, where this one usually is around $240 to $250. However, here's the catcher. Both of these, they're very similar, guys. Choosing one over the other, it's not that big of a deal. Honestly, if you choose Anycubic Photon, that's fine. If you choose Elegoo Mars, that's fine. Personally, my personal opinion, and this is completely biased, by the way, because I love how one of these looks, and that's like the main reason why I would choose the Elegoo Mars. If it was just me, I would probably choose the Elegoo Mars. I think it has a better slicer, it's a bit faster, I think it looks a bit more modern, and it definitely does look a bit better in my opinion. But that does not mean the Anycubic Photon's a bad printer. I think this is one of the best SLA 3D printers out there. But the Elegoo Mars is just a tad above it. So those are my opinions about both machines. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and I hope you're excited that I'm getting back into 3D printing. See you in the next one, guys. Bye!